What the fuck is going on with lending? Like,
Yeah,
what a weird week. What a weird week. All right, I'm going to lay this one up and I'm going to let you riff on it because I think it's really important. I had been led to believe that now might be an opportune time to buy some property. I had seen some opportunities with my buyer's agent, some very, very juicy opportunities. I'm like, wow, there really are some good buyers out there. And I went and had a look at lending. And the experience of going and looking at lending, well, as the name of this episode would suggest, I was quite surprised.
What the fuck?
And Grant, I know you did the same thing, right? You were involved in these conversations. So what I would love to know, what's your experience been?
Filth, trash. So you and I decided that we'll pull the trigger around the same time. And we went and looked at different properties. And we both came back with these two great properties. And I'll put it out there, awesome places.
To be clear, I have no problems with the assets. The properties themselves, I like and would still love to buy.
Totally. To the point that we would happily swap the assets. We're like, hey, I like that one. If you're not going to go, we'll go too. But then when we said, okay, cool, let's go and have a look at the lending options on these properties, which I'm going to be transparent. They were unit blocks, right? So they were blocks of units, and those were the ones that we were looking at. The lending that was on this property was outrageous. Like it made the deal not the way that I'd want it to sit in the nicest possible way, because I'm trying to be the nice guy here. So
I won't. I'm going to cut straight in on that. I'm going to say now that one of the things that I think lets down a lot of investors is they're obsessed with the asset and not the lending.
Yeah, totally.
Like the finance is part of the game. Like it's a huge part of the game. If you've got superior finance, the returns you need on the assets doesn't have to be in good. Like if I gave you a loan for like 0.1% right now, just like the RBA did not too long ago to the banks, and you can buy properties that yield 2%, you've got a 2% spread on the income and the asset value. Congratulations. But if you're borrowing at rates we'll talk about soon, like the financing can ruin a deal or make it unsustainable.
Totally. But in addition to that, the rates, the size of deposit that you'd have to put on depending on the asset you're looking for, like all of these things just stack up, which is like lending is not a tailwind anymore. Like we're starting to walk into a headwind, which it just might not make it favorable for these types of assets.
So what were you expecting when you took your asset took your listing to your broker and you said, hey, let's look at getting this finance? What were your expectations?
So I'm fortunate enough that I've got a lot of borrowing capacity and my property portfolio is all cash flow positive. So I'm happy, right? I'm sitting there, I'm like, to anybody, I've got good earnings, I got a great cash flow positive portfolio, and I've got a great amount of money that I can borrow. So I'm like,
great.
Awesome.
You're sounding very borrow worthy here. Like if I was a bank, I'd like to give you money.
Completely. So then I look at it and I go, awesome. Like these people know that I know how to buy properties and they know that I know how to earn. I'm a model customer base. And so interestingly enough, the amount that I could borrow was not the problem. I was expecting, hey, we're willing to give you, I don't know, like I was hoping for a rate around sort of 5.5, probably potentially up to like 6% at the time of this recording, which is like end of November-ish. What I got back was 7%. And oh, by the way, we want to refinance all your old home loans across into our banks as well. And you have to put a 35% deposit down. And I'm like, wait, what? Because one of my home loans that I bought, like one of the first properties I bought, it's got a fixed rate at 2.6% for like another year and a half. Like, why would I want to refinance that? And like, well, no, because this asset, like, no bueno. And I'm like,
you would have to be very confident in the purchase you were making, achieving an outsized return to
significantly.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that and I said, well, where were these deals that I was seeing from a lending perspective previously of like 20% downs, like your 5.5%, yeah, like a big bank's not doing this anymore. Like, what are we seeing? And it's just, this is the MO. This is the industry. Like, it's just the lending is now the roadblock to things coming in. And I was just like, this just frustrating. It pissed me off. stuff. And I'm just like, oh, no, I got to play this game differently. Like, what about you? I think you go something similar.
Well, I'm actually going to date this episode. So we're recording this at the end of November. The reason I'm dating this episode is there may actually be a December rate rise that comes through that would have the rates and numbers we talk about be like, oh, cool, that's what I would expect. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but let's just date this one from here. Now, being I have so much borrowing already, my expectation, dangerous word, by the way, dangerous word, was that I would be able to get similar loans to the ones I've got. Like if you've got a whole bunch of mortgages at 5% roughly or 5.2 roughly, wouldn't you expect to be able to get another one at 5.2 from the same bank?
Yeah, same. You totally would.
Right. And like deposit ratios, like again, with the same bank, would you think it would be the same?
You totally would assume that it would be the same.
Not my finding. Not my finding at all. And I'm sure someone out there right now is going, oh, it's because it's the unit block type thing. And yes, asset does play a role when it comes to lending. It definitely does. But I also had my borrowing checked on just standard resi also and had much of the same experience. Like the rates were significantly higher as well as the deposit requirements. And why I wanted to really like bring this in as an episode is a year ago, it wasn't like that. This is actually like bank policy change. It's not like we've reached a level and suddenly this is what lending is. This is one of those times where banks are really trying to take some risk off the table is my finding now. So to lend money, they're really making sure they've covered themselves and it's going to be a very profitable experience for them. Not so great for the investors out there overall.
All right, fellow property investor. If you loved the value from this short video and wanted to know more about how you can win at property investing, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now. Alternatively, click subscribe and you'll never miss another one of these videos.